Hello, this will probably be the first of two videos that I'll make on Conrad's Fantasy. It's a game that was created in the early 90s, and I must admit I haven't played it in ages. We're going to do a demo because somebody wanted to see what the freestyle system was like. And the first video here, I'm just going to make a character. And you're going to have to forgive my penmanship with a electronic pen. But I'm going to just use the character sheet here, and I'm going to roll up a character. So the way you start rolling a character in Conrad's Fantasy is you're going to pick one extraordinary trait that you want to be. Now, I tend to play fighters, but in this case, I'm going to go out on a limb since I probably am not going to have any lasting effect with this character. And I'm going to play somebody who's clever. And so once I get that clever trait, then I roll a die to see if I'm any others. So let me get a die roll here. A single die, I think, works. And a 1. And I'm clever. So if I had rolled a 6, I would have been energetic, magical, and clever. But I am just a clever man. A clever man is not necessarily terrifically handicapped in this game. And certainly in a magical game, you don't have to stop with just a clever character. There are ways you can quest and improve your character depending upon how the referee wants to run his play. A lot of times when I used to play Dungeons & Dragons, you would start with a character that you'd roll 3 dice, 6, 4 straight through, and the thing would be absolutely terrible and average. But there would be so many different items and goblets and thrones and switches that could add 1 to intelligence, add 1 to wisdom. But the players just got in the habit of knowing that while they're playing the game, they're going to be constantly improving their stats. I think now people don't play the average characters. They just roll and roll till they get something really good that they want to play. But we are a minute in, and I don't want to waste a whole lot of time here. So I am Rojo, and I am clever. Clever. If I let's see if I can grab a pen here. And with my drawing tool, I can go C. For clever. And Rojo here. R. O. Wow, this is spastic. J. O. Rojo playing clever. Titles held. So what I do is I go over this progression chart here, and I can start the game as a footman with 3 physical skills, a bumpkin with two gifted skills and 1 physical skill, an urchin with 2 gifted skills and 2 practiced and patient skill, or a student with 2 learned skills and 2 magic points. Now, I am clever, and I need to look at the game really quick, because that's how old my memory is here. Now, clever is a trait showing resourcefulness, inventiveness, and shrewdness. It's like the cunning trait in Cutlass, I would bet. Other characters with this trait, only characters with this trait may develop learned abilities. So that pretty much says that I'm going to be a student, because I'm going to take advantage of the fact, because I'm clever, I can pick up those 2 learned skills and 2 magic points. So here I am, I'm going to be a magic user, although everyone in the game is a magic user, I'm just going to be a little bit better than them. And then I'm going to get 2 learned skills. And so I go down into the game booklet, and I have just that chart, this progression chart, is on page, looks like 4 of the booklet. And I go over to 5, and I see the definitions of all those titles. There's the dice roll table for mixed, mishap, success, fail. But the actual skills, learned skills. Let me see if I got a list of learned skills somewhere in here. I should. I mean, I thought a number of this stuff was defined in the game, besides Dark Lord and everything else. It may have been that the players improvise and select skills. Let me go to the, is there a character sheet here? Yeah, is there combat? Yeah, combat action here, and but I only put the physical skills on it. Yeah, you can see how much I'm struggling, and so if you pick up this game, and I see in one of the characters, create and use poisons. That's probably a good one to have, and disguise and act. Those are not bad. Here are my examples of clever skills. Conrad's Fantasy, you are laid out terribly. I think it's at the end in the appendix, because again, in freestyle fashion, the players were not going to be told. You can only have a list of these skills you had to choose from. And the suggested examples of gifted skills, good. Examples of practiced and patient skills. Examples of learned skills. All right, here it is. It's in the back cover. we did not put a lot of money into a layout and editorial with these, so you're going to have to bear with them. They have that very raw 1970s feel to them of role-play games, whatever you could slap and get out there. Nobody was expecting to make a fortune, and besides Gary and I believe James Dunnigan with SPI, nobody did. Find hidden things is a clever skill. Estimate value is a clever skill. Litigation, languages, navigator, tracking. I'm going to take that poison skill, I think, and I'm also going to take decode maps and codes. So I'm going to start with codes, and I'm going to start with, and those are all learned skills over here, and I'm going to take codes, and again, you're going to have to watch me try to write with a pen. Looks like a C there. Cedars. See if I can make a better E. Codes. And also maps. And you'd think that maps and codes are the same thing. They are. And poisons. P. P-O-I. Oh, that's pathetic. Poison. Okay, so I have codes, and I got poisons, and with my codes and poisons, I can start play. Now, whenever I go into battle, and you'll see this later on when I'm actually playing this character with Mike and Tony, you'll see how I will use my poisons to constantly be going stabby, stabby, stabby and delivering these wounds. I can actually take this right now and take a look at it and go, I am not the heinous one, so I would not have these different wounds. And I have not reached the chart where I am the mutilator, wizard, warrior, or thief, cutperson, sheriff, warlord, enchanter. And you can see on the progression chart here, those are the heinous one is there, the necromancer is there, gray one. I am not the thief yet. I am not the sheriff yet. A warlord, sheriff, here he is over here, and wizard over here. So, but as I progress in checking off my nobles, I will move to apprentice or journeyman or cut person. Those have advantages. Because I am not, I do not have the trait of being gifted. I will not get gifted skills. Let me make sure that it's the trait of magical. Because I'm not the trait of magical, I can still use magic without the trait of magical, but with the trait of magical, I can gain these special gifted skills. Those are things like resist poisons, the opposite of what my guy does, deliver poisons. And I can pick up these L skills because I'm clever. Other players who are not clever would not get their Ls. Anytime you have a skill class like this patient and practice skills cut purse, I am not methodical as a trait, so I would not be able to earn that. Because I can't earn that, it would just turn into magic points. And those 2 magic points I can use as die roll modifiers, pips to add to the dice I'm rolling, but also I can use them to absorb the mishaps of magic use. And I think that pretty much covers traits, the progression path, picking my skills, and just again to elaborate over here, I'm not man-at-arms, I'm not a veteran, I'm not a hero, I am not energetic, I am not rugged. These are all things, but I am a player and I am a character. So I start with the ability to take essentially 2 wounds of each type. Now if you're familiar with some of the other videos we put out, you would know that in a game like Cutlass, you only have 1 wound, you're vicious, or you're unwounded, or 2 vicious, you're dead. Here in Rogue Sword, you get a little bit more of a fanciful play in the sense that I can take 1, 2, 3 vicious. If I was rugged, I could take 3 viciouses. And the way the character chart works here is that a lot of the damage in the game that's going to be delivered by monsters, opponents, are going to just be bruised cuts, and then those are going to overflow. So if I get 1, 2, when I take my 3rd bruised cut, it overflows as a bleeder. As I take 1, 2, my 3rd bleeder injury overflows as a vicious. As I take 1, 2, I'm slain. And then the spirit attacks would be if somebody tries to charm me or use suggestion on me, classic D&D tropes, or if I I'm shaken, I'm trying to run away in fear, if I'm facing whites, barrel whites, anything with drain levels, all those abstracts that we now know as common things in Dungeons & Dragons, those would appear instead as a generic category of spirit wounds. Also, if you mishap certain spells, like if I try to uproot a tree from the ground, that's a pretty powerful thing to try to do, especially as a young student that I am, as a young student, to try to basically uproot a tree. That might be a tasking role. Student. And a tasking roll, I would need a 13 or better to be successful. That's less than 1 in 4. But from 12 to 10, I would still get the result of uprooting the tree, but that mixed result would mean something would happen that would affect me. I could, in essence, maybe take a spirit wound from that. I would outright fail on a 9 through 6. And a 5 through 12, I would consult a mishap table. And that could be anything from I accidentally summoned a demon on the extreme, or one of the powerful protectors of magic shows up, slaps me a few times and says, "Don't do this again, or I'm going to strip you of all your magic points." More later.